Joining me now is Image Matrix tech editor, Juro Sen. Good to see you again, Juro. Thank you so much for joining me. That was the minister's explanation. Is the government at fault here too?
Good evening, Danica. I think the government absolutely plays a role in this, because this probably wouldn't have happened if the government, proceeding to this latest few events, had actually cracked down on Optus and its failures in the past. And to come out with a statement like you knew, I wish I could use that excuse every day of the week, Danica, but I just can't do it. So the government has to get cracking, should have been cracking before. They've been throwing fines out left, right and centre. They had inquiries. We just need stuff done. Like in the US, stuff is getting done. We need it done here too.
Look, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just surprised it hasn't happened earlier. Now, Optus has come out claiming that equipment from its technical partner Ericsson did not appear to operate as it should, causing that outage on Sunday. How does something like that happen?
Well, there was a blame on the tower not functioning, and these things do happen. But they've sort of thrown Ericsson under the bus a bit here, because Ericsson provides a lot of equipment to global telco companies, and there will be failures here and there. The thing is, though, the front-facing business is Optus. So just to throw another company that provides material to you or technical equipment is not good enough as far as I'm concerned. Yes, you can have those internal discussions, but this one is for Optus to wear fully. And I don't think it's a stage at this point of all the investigations going on and the fallout, Danica, that they should be blaming anyone else.
Well, I guess what a lot of Aussies want to know is, how does something like this actually happen? You know, once is bad, twice is diabolical. You know, this is meant to be a reputable telecommunications company. It is meant to have the ability that when someone needs to call an emergency service, they expect to get through. It beggars belief that they're having these constant outages.
This is absolutely true. And I think at the core, the O service that sits underneath everything, the other telcos, whether you're calling by a mobile or a landline, is pretty solid. But clearly there's something going wrong in the Optus infrastructure that isn't right. Now, you can have technical problems, and I always talk to these telcos, Telstra and the alike, all the time about their technical issues. But what I'm seeing here is a cultural issue at Optus. You cannot have one event after another event after another event and not do anything about it. So we've heard about all these human errors, and they've been quick to say that, but those errors need to be elevated faster, and that's why we saw a breakdown in the initial loss of O numbers, and of course we heard about the deaths around the same time. So I think on top of the technical things that we're looking at, which need to be improved, absolutely, Danica, but I think overall, they need to look at the culture of the company, because that has to be something that's causing a lot of these issues, because they're not following things up and not following procedures. Now, I've got a 172 pilot's license. It's a very small plane, but just like the big ones, I've got to follow a checklist to make sure I am safe. In the same way, they should have checklists that are never, ever skipped. And I'm wondering if they do have the culture to follow checklists and all those procedures when things go wrong, because they will go wrong.
Look, you're absolutely spot on. What sort of consequences can be imposed on the telco, if any? Are they penalties? How does it work?
It's really hard. What do? They've got millions of customers, and you can't just say you're out of the business. You can't just throw someone in there. I mean, Telstra's getting the benefits for this because a lot of people are signing up to them. I know anecdotally and speaking to people in the street, and also the data comes out. But obviously you can fine them millions of dollars, and they've been on the books before with data breaches and those sorts of things. But at some point it has to be more serious than that. And the fines are really the easy way out. The government can say, hey, we're going to fine you $100 million, $200 million. But will that actually change anything? And you know what the evidence shows, Danica? It hasn't changed anything. So it's got to be more than fines. Maybe kick them out of the business, maybe hold people responsible in the top job.
Yeah, look, I completely agree with you. Something has to happen, because this just cannot keep happening. You know, when lives have been lost, It is an absolute disaster. Duro Sen, good to see you. Thanks very much for joining me on the show this evening.